pizza, spaghetti, bruschetta, salsa, BLTs, on hamburgers, on salads, in soups, on sandwiches. You can roast them, sun-dry them, fry them, saute them. No, I'm not trying to make you hungry. I'm just trying to demonstrate the versatility of one world-famous vegetable. You guessed it, the incredible edible tomato. Now just imagine being able to enjoy garden-fresh tomatoes right from your porch or balcony. Today, I'm going to provide you with some very basic information on how to do just that. I'm a vegetable farmer. I've grown thousands of tomato plants over the years, and I'm excited to share this information with you. I'm going to start by telling you the difference between the two main varieties of tomatoes, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of a growing technique, and then finally I'm going to provide you with some very basic nutrition information on tomatoes. Let's start with the varieties. There are hundreds of varieties of tomatoes out there. All of them fall under two categories, determinate and indeterminate. Indeterminate are the classic tomato plant I'm sure most of you are familiar with. They grow about 7 or 8 feet tall, and they produce tomatoes and grow at the same time, which means they require a large, strong trellis for support. Determinate varieties are a much smaller, bushier variety. The tomato is produced on the topmost bud, which stops the growth of the plant, which means they require a much smaller trellis for support. So when you compare these two, it might help you to better choose a variety that suits your space. So if you have a large porch or balcony and the option for a large trellis, an indeterminate tomato might be the right fit for you. But I would have to agree with the article, the difference between determinate and indeterminate varieties of tomatoes, that, quote, determinate varieties might be the best choice for growing in a container or in a small garden where space is limiting. So look at your space and make a decision that works best for you. And now let's talk about growing techniques. So, like a lot of plants, tomatoes require sun, food, and water to grow healthy and productive. However, a potted tomato plant requires a little bit different care than a tomato plant grown in the soil, in the ground. And a testimony to that unique care is provided in this recommendation from the Ohio State University Extension, and more specifically, Gary Gaio, Brad Bergford, Bob Pritchard, in their research article, Growing Tomatoes in the Home Garden. Pay close attention to water and fertilizer needs of container-grown tomato plants, since they can dry out very quickly and nutrients can leach out of potting mixes. So, check your potted tomato plant every day in the heat of the summer. Make sure it has enough water, and fertilize about every 2 weeks, but more often in small doses is preferable. Also, make sure you use a large enough pot, 5 gallons or larger. This gives the plant enough space to grow its roots strong. And then finally, put it in a sunny spot. So tomato plants require about 6 hours of sun per day, and then you should be on your way. And now that you have growing techniques, I want to provide you with a little bit of nutrition information on tomatoes. Healthy tomato plants will produce healthy tomatoes. The same Ohio State Extension article I mentioned earlier says, quote, 9 different carotenoids have been identified in tomatoes, 2 of which are beta-carotene and lycopene. Carotenoids are thought to have a number of health benefits, including reducing the risk of developing cancer, cardiovascular disease, and macular degeneration. And about 80 to 90% of lycopene consumed by humans comes from tomatoes. So, not only are they tasty and wonderful treats that can be used on many different dishes in your kitchen, but they also provide your body with some nutritional benefits as well. So in closing, I have given you some information about the 2 main varieties of tomatoes, determinate and indeterminate, to help you better choose one that suits your space. I've also provided you with some basic care requirements, and then finally I shared just some basic nutrition information. I hope this information was helpful. Growing tomato plants can be very rewarding, especially when they're fresh harvested and slice into them and put them on a delicious salad. It can be very rewarding, and I hope that some of you get to experience that yourselves. Thank you, and happy growing!